Hi guys, welcome back to my show, and thank you for tuning in. And for those of you, I'm gonna adjust the light a little bit. Okay, so for those of you who don't know about the show, I'm creating this. I just want to share my chess training on how to be a better chess player, and I welcome you to participate in the show. And so we can help each other to be better. And today I'm going to talk about defense, and defense is one of those chess topic that are underrated. And if you Google or search on Amazon.com about chess defense, I think there are a few books that are written about chess defense, such as How to Defend in Chess, The Secrets of Chess Defense, and Practical Chess Defense by Jacob Bogard, to name few. But in reality, in this world, especially if you hire chess trainers, most of the time they tell you to solve tactics. There's nothing wrong about solving chess tactics. Wait a sec. Okay, there's nothing wrong about solving chess tactics, but what happens? It's nice if you're attacking your opponent, but what about if your opponent's the one attacking you? What's going to happen? Are you going to be able to hold your ground, or are you going to panic, or are you going to blame someone or yourself for not studying the opening better? But in reality, there are some patterns that you have to know, or we have to know, in order to be able to defend properly. Okay, so let's start. And a shout out to my wife, Sheila, and she's in a chat right now. Thank you for supporting me. Okay, and let me know, guys, if you're in the chat. Just send me a message if you have any questions. Okay. Alright. So, quote, "In principle, no one likes defending passively. What pleasure is there in parrying enemy attacks, holding a shield in each hand, and not even contemplating answering blow with blow? Nevertheless, the necessity for such defense is sometimes dictated to us by time itself. Remember the First World War, when machine guns had been invented and were being used, when at first there were no tanks, but then they began to appear in small numbers. And when a new form of warfare was created, trench warfare, and when it became dangerous for even the most dashing cavalry to advance under the intense machine gun fire of those who were deeply and securely entrenched in the earth, and in addition, fenced in by barbed wire. Why all these analogies? For the reason that is not by accident that chess is called an ideal model of life, and however much we might want quickly to display our temperament on the board, to go out into open battle, sometimes and not so rarely, it pays to soberly assess the situation and dig in deeper and be concerned about second and third line of defense. Alright, so what I do is I put a timer and set the time to 20 minutes. According to Grandmaster Jacob Bogard with his Grandmaster Preparation series of books, that's what he suggests. In former chess world champion challenger Boris Gelfand, in some of his examples, he recommends to spend at least 30 minutes for its position. But I think 20 minutes it's good. In 20 minutes you need to be able to solve and have solve the puzzle, assess the position, you know, have a decent move and some follow-up moves, because if you spend your time too much, and you're gonna get in time trouble. And the problem with time trouble is, if you have less time, you make a lot of mistakes. Haste makes mistakes. Haste makes mistakes. So it would be better to, when you're solving chess puzzles, to time yourself. Okay, let's do this. And usually I have to write down my answers after I'm able to solve chess puzzle. So let's see. So now I'm gonna write down the date in my notebook. And the game. Okay. What can you say about this position? It's black to play. And in this position, it looks like it came from a Sicilian defense, where black exchanged its c pawn for white's d pawn. Okay. So black has this backward d6 pawn, but right now it's kind of hard for white to attack this d6 pawn, because there's only one piece that can attack it right now, and it's the queen, whereas the d6 pawn is defended by both the black queen and the black's dark squared bishop. Oops, sorry. Okay. So what else? I think white is threatening to play h5 to chase the black queen, and at the same time trying to expand on the center, on the king side. So that's one of the moves that we have to watch out. What else? Black can also take the pawn on e4, but the question is, what's going to happen if black takes the pawn on e4? What do you guys think? Oops. Yep, okay. Maybe I can play h5. Okay, let's just look what's gonna happen after bishop takes pawn right here. Then knight takes bishop, queen takes knight. Maybe white can go even bishop e2. I like this move. The white's threat is to play. White's plan is to play bishop to f3 to x3 the queen on e4 and the rook on e8. And and one of the things why I'm not moving the pieces, because from when I was younger, my former chess coach, Filipino grandmaster Bong Villamayor, taught me and my brother, international master coach Joel Banawa, when we were solving chess puzzles, the first thing that he told us, don't move the pieces. That's the first thing that he told us. Don't move the pieces, because in a real chess competition, you're not allowed to move the pieces. But so we have to figure out how to practice our visualization, or imagine the piece moving to a different square or capturing something. So that's kind of imagination. At the same time, I remember when both of us, when Coach Grandmaster Bong Villamayor gave us a position, and me and my brother was doing the pointing thing, he also told us not to do that, because if you start pointing on a chessboard while solving a chess position or analyzing a chess position, your opponent is gonna know what you are up to. So it's just stories that I still remember, and that happened many years ago. So after bishop to e2, say the black king cannot take this pawn on g2 because of still bishop f3, so cannot do that. But what can white do? What can black do after bishop to e2? Maybe rook c2, then white can just play c3. Black can play rook c8, then white can play c3. But then now black can take the pawn on g2, then bishop f3 and queen g6, bishop b7. I don't know, maybe it's possible to take the pawn on e4, but it's possible, but is it logical to start taking the pawns of white? Oh, okay. I think bishop takes e4, then h5, then queen g4, queen g4, then g4, then that's interesting. Bishop takes e4, then h5. Bishop here, h5. What's gonna happen there? Then queen to f5, because the black queen cannot leave the bishop on e4. It's gonna be undefended, so okay. No. Hey, baby, how's the sound? The music? It's background? Alright. Okay. Let me see. hacking out in here. Because bishop takes e4, then h4, then g4, then queen f3. Okay, then rook h3. Oh, that's rook h3. Oh, rook h3, then queen takes d1, rook takes d1. I don't know. I think I still feel that after bishop takes e4, knight takes e4, queen takes e4, bishop e2 with the idea of bishop f3 is white's best move. For just a pawn, white was able to get the pair of bishops, but after rook c8, then c3, then b4. Maybe b4, then the pawn on a6 hangs. Now white has like bishop takes a6. So I don't think it's a good idea to take the pawn on e4, because white will be able to control the light squares and black will have no chance. I mean, even if black is able to get a pawn, white will have the pair of bishops, and usually the mathematical calculation for pair of bishops, according to the book Kaufman Repertoire, the new one published in 2019, usually it's the computer like he counts the bishop as two pair of bishops with like an extra pawn. That's how he counts it. So even if white loses a pawn, but he has nice powerful bishops in a like kind of semi-open position, white will have some compensation. So like, not sure about taking that pawn, or just missing something obvious. Maybe I'll play h5 just to prevent. It's a prophylactic move. Prophylaxis means to prevent someone from your opponent to do something, or slows down what your opponent is trying to do, or they're supposed to do. So I might play h5 instead. Here, just to prevent white from gaining more space with h5. It's a tough position to play. Okay, after h5, what can white do? Should white just start defending the pawn on e4 with maybe f3? Because if white plays, for example, f3 after I play h5, if I check here, then bishop just covered, and I have to move my queen again. It's kind of wasteful. So maybe that, just f3. Then still don't get why the queen is on g6. So maybe the queen is better placed on c7. Not sure. But anyway, it's already there. Okay, after f3, I might play knight f6 with the idea of playing rook d8. Then try to break on d5 so I can activate this dark squared bishop. And also get rid of this backward pawn on d6. Okay. How many more minutes do we have? I gotta start making a decision. So h5, f3, knight f6, and queen d2, or even a4? No. Okay, queen d2, rook d8. After rook d8, white has this annoying bishop to b6 move, then followed by rook d7. Maybe it's a bad idea to put my bishop on b6 because if I put my bishop here later, after black plays d5 and after taking, the queen might be able to hit the bishop on b6. So interesting. I can even play a3, I think. Instead of playing bishop b6, I think I can play a3 just to prevent black from playing b4. So too many arrows right now. I'm gonna delete all of them. I only have 3 minutes, 16 seconds. I gotta make a decision. Oh well. Okay. Okay. Okay, looks like time is up. So okay, see what happened. I recorded h5 as my move, followed by knight f6, then d5. Okay, black to move. Assessment. Black's problem is queen's position. This is from the book. Weaknesses seen on squares in the center. In spite of its apparent well-being, black's position in the game is difficult. Weak squares in the center, arid on the queen side, vulnerable queen position. All this demands accurate defense. In the first instance, the correct choice of its character. We should mention in passing that the capture bishop takes e4. Okay, having realized the danger of such an active course, black nevertheless plays his choice on another active variation. Okay, so according to here, bishop takes e4 is risky in view of h5. Okay, that's what I calculated. Then what? g4. Oh, then queen f3. Now what? Rook h3. Okay, knight takes e4. Is this true? Then queen takes e4. If knight takes e4, queen takes here, then queen d5, threatening to take the rook and discovered check and discovered attack against the black queen. Okay, so that looks good. So instead of queen takes h1, queen takes e4. Okay, rook g1. So it's not bishop e2 that instead of what I was calculating, just taking the bishop here, queen, then followed by bishop e2. Let's see. Okay. Okay. So according to Stackfish 12, it's black has slight advantage. Okay, but still believe that white has some compensation for the pair of bishops. But looks like that h5 is stronger than knight takes e4. Okay, now learn something. So in the game, black played f5. Okay. What is black up to? Maybe threatening to play here, or just take the pawn. Bishop e2, knight f6, bishop here, pawn takes pawn, castle. This looks interesting. Can I just play here? Then after, let's say, after bishop here, then queen takes, because if I cannot take with a pawn. I cannot retake the bishop because of this skewer. So I have to move. My queen. Okay, so castle. Can I just play h6 right away? Just want to play that. Maybe it's a bad idea. After h6, then bishop takes f6, queen takes f6, even knight d5, or even bishop h5. Maybe knight d5 looks nice, but after knight d5, then queen f7, then c4. If c4, then bishop takes d5, then c takes d5. I think I can start attacking this pawn on h4. Interesting. Maybe I just want to develop my bishop here. Then castle, because I want to secure my king as soon as possible. It's interesting. Okay, queen f7. This is the text move. This is what happened in the real game. Bishop f6. Okay, queen f6. So what happens if black plays here? This is a pin. Queen is going to go down. Okay, so f6 is a blunder. Queen takes f6. Then a4. Okay, so a4 is a standard move in this pawn structure, because you're trying to exchange this b pawn, black's b pawn, for the a pawn, And what happens is, if these pawns exchange, then black is going to be left with a pawn, an isolated pawn in a6. And usually what do you do with an isolated pawn? It's you attack it. You have, once your opponent has an isolated pawn, becomes a target. But I think here, after queen takes f6, black is threatening to play h4, but instead of defending it, white decided to create a counterplay. Okay, queen e6. Okay, so black sacrificed a pawn. So instead of taking this pawn, black played here. The idea is to play d5 to gain more control of the central squares. A takes a5, a takes b5, then push pawn. Well, I don't know. Yeah. Yep. So white is in this position. White has the lead in development, and he has how many pawns is he up? 3, 6, 3, 6. So same number of pawns, but it will take at least 2 moves for black to castle. Okay. So if you are white, what are you going to do? You want to open up the position as soon as possible. Here a5. Okay, bishop g4. Tempo gaining move. Tempo means time. You're gaining time because you're attacking a queen, and most likely the black queen has to go. So it's an attack too. You're starting to hit black's pieces because your black neglected to castle. So queen has to go. Queen f7. Maybe now it can play here. Bishop e7 and castle. What now? b4? f4. Okay. And the general principle is when your opponent neglected to castle early, you want to open the files for your rooks. Start attacking. Start going against your opponent's queen pieces, and especially the king. Your opponent's king. d5. Wow. So what is the idea? After f takes e5, then g3, bishop c5, then king h1, then queen e7, then g3, d4. Oh, it's interesting. So queen e7. Okay, threatening to take here. I mean, even if black is able to take the pawn on h4, still check. It's not checkmate. White can still defend with a bishop cover. So, can I just take here on d5? Maybe it's too risky. Because I don't know, if white plays g3, doesn't black have this d4? Followed by e3? Ah, okay. Even if you let black play d4 here, it will block its bishop. Maybe that's the reason why. I don't know. So what is this is a complicated position. Okay, even if black is able to play d4 followed by e3, that's a check. I think white's king is safe here on h2 for now. Okay, what did white do? Knight takes d5. Okay, so that's what I was talking about. Even if black captures the pawn, he didn't capture the pawn. So if black captures the pawn, then bishop here. Then what now? Rook d8. Rook d8 and c4. Knight c7. Rook d8 and just c4. Rook d8 threatening to take this knight, but c4 just defends it. And for example, black plays bishop c8 to pressure that bishop on h3. And I have a check. It's knight c7. I don't know if it's a good check. It's a check. Maybe I can play queen b3 to defend, or even king h2. Even king h2, just to defend this pawn, this bishop. So it doesn't look like black will black has some mating attack if he captures on h4. That's why in the game he played queen takes e5. Okay, so queen takes e5, planning to take the knight on d5. Okay, now what? Oh, black has this idea to play bishop d6, threatening to checkmate the white queen, that maneuver. But knight can still cover that black's diagonal, black's battery. Maybe c4? Yeah, I think I can play c4 here. And bishop d6. And if black plays bishop d6, then knight here. Just cover it. Yeah, and now he has this move, castle. Now black was able to castle, secure the king, and at the same time start attacking the f4, the knight on f4. So I don't know what happened here. Is this what happened? So instead of playing c4, white played rook f5. Queen g3, knight c7. Why? Queen takes c7, then why? Am I missing something obvious? Captain Obvious. Rook takes c5. Queen takes c5, queen d7, king f8, rook f1. Oh, c. And king g8, then bishop e6, checkmate, or queen f7, checkmate. Wow. So there's a tactics. Rook takes c5. It just opens up this line for white's light squared bishop. So queen here. Now what? Oh, rook e5. Rook e5. Coach Joel, international master. Coach Joel Banawa is in the house. It's in the chat. It says looking good. Thank you, Coach Joel, for your kind words. Queen e7. I think rook e5 is very good in here. Yes, I got it. Got it. I feel good about myself for getting that elementary tactic. Queen d7 resigns. All right, what did we learn from that example? I think black should still play h5. Nice finish mate, according to Coach Joel Banawa. Not sure. Okay, f5 is a mistake. Okay, f5 is a mistake. Let's see what the computer says. Let's see what the computer says. I want to play h5. h5 then a4. So white starts bombarding the queen side. And what if I push? b4 then knight d5. The idea is after bishop takes, then queen takes. Since the black queen here is on g6, usually it's supposed to be here on d8 to protect the rook on a8. But since it's there, doing something, maybe pressuring the e4 pawn and the g2 pawn. After queen d5, that's a tempo gaining move. White is able to attack the rook, and black has to move the rook or defend it. I think move, because he cannot defend it without losing material. Okay, so that's interesting. So maybe rook c8 instead of bishop takes d5. Okay, rook c8 according to Coach Joel Banawa. Okay, so Stockfish says f3. Okay. So it's a typical Najdorf position with a e5. But white has a powerful outpost on d5 and bishop e7. Okay, what is the idea here? Yes, according to Coach Joel, it's bishop e7 to d8, maybe to later to bishop a5, or to just protect this dark squared bishop. Thank you, Coach Joel Banawa, for supporting my channel and being an active chatter. And knight c5 to e6 is another idea. Okay, all right. Okay, now that's interesting. So that was interesting. I think still h5 is the best. Let's see what the computer says. Bishop takes e4. Okay, h5 now. 0.87. Oh, f5. If the computer keeps on changing its answers, you know the position it's hard to calculate. It's a complicated position, and now it's f5 really. All right, so hopefully, hope you guys learned something from this example. I learned something that don't take a pawn, especially a pawn that might give your opponent some initiative, like pair of bishops. And if you're gonna take it, try to do your best to calculate and figure out what weaknesses can you attack against your opponent, because if you keep on getting material, you're gonna be behind moves. And if you are behind development of your knights and bishops, moving your knights and bishops out, most likely your opponent's going to go after your king or your queen, whichever piece. So hopefully guys you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it, share it to your friends, subscribe to my Twitch, Facebook, and I'll see you guys on the next show.